Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I am here today with Alex de Oliveira, and we are going to discuss all things detoxing. Alex, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Alex, detoxes, cleanses have become very trendy, especially in the recent years, probably the last decade, I would say. And there is a lot of confusion on the internet, on Instagram, Pinterest, on Google regarding the need for detoxification or detoxing, B, the correct method of detoxification. You hear everything from doctors who say, listen, your body is already naturally detoxing. You don't need a detox, to naturopathic doctors or functional medicine doctors or holistic health coaches saying you should detox once a quarter, you should do this parasite cleanse, you should do this blah, blah, blah detox. I'm probably falling somewhere in the middle with Faster Way. As the CEO of Faster Way, I'm in the middle. I'm very cognizant of the need for detox, but I want to dive into the who, what, when, where, why, how of detoxification. And I will also mention that today, when this podcast is dropping, we are actually starting a 5-day smoothie detox in our Faster Way community with tens of thousands of individuals from our VIP membership and detox participants. So not only am I kind of falling in the middle, understanding this need for detox, but I'm actually implementing a detox with our community. So let's dive into the what, first of all, kind of, who, what, when, where, why, how, but we'll start with the what. What is detoxification? What does that even mean when I say we're going to detox?
So, Amanda, when I was working in regular practice, right? I came from mainstream medicine and I started doing alternative functional medicine. So when people would talk about detoxing, to me, it was a little bit strange because I learned in the textbooks and in school, in nurse practitioner school, that our bodies detox automatically. So anything that we put in, it's going to come out somehow through the urine, through the skin, through the stools, right? So that's our main detoxification pathway. But when patients start to really push me and ask me that question, then I start doing more research, like to really know, like what exactly were we talking about? What is this? What is this detox about? What you're asking? So, and I start to realize, that is true. The environment in which we live today, it's full of toxins everywhere, from the air that you breathe, from the lotions that we put in. And more research you start to do and you see that there's a lot of synthetic products in everything. Sometimes, I've had people that do a lot of golfing, and the golfing, the grass, they spray with a lot of pesticides. So those, and I'm start to test and seeing the blood test. I'm like, oh, there are toxins here. There are heavy metals here. And I start understanding that some people have a heavy duty exposure, but at the end of the day, we're all exposed to many things like new products, sometimes like a new furniture or a new car. And we're just pushing that limit. See, that's just the key. So the problem is never the poison itself. It's how much of the poison are you exposed to. So, and it seems like we all have an extra exposure to all of these poisons. And that's what detox is. We're trying to eliminate, first to avoid, but then to help the body to eliminate these toxins in a proper way. That's what it is.
So when you first entered into the medical field, you were a little bit more traditional medical field. You understood that we naturally detoxify. We detox through our skin, the bowels, the urine, the liver. But then as you started studying more, you realized that we have even more environmental toxins now in 2024 to deal with than we ever have had in the history of humankind. And as you mentioned, it's not the toxin itself, it's the almost rain barrel effect of when you have the overflowing rain barrel of toxic overload. That's what causes the disease and the different responses that our bodies go through. It does feel a little overwhelming for me that, even as a mom of 5, it's like, how can I really protect myself and protect my kids from all of these toxins? You know, you mentioned the new car. I have a new car. You mentioned the houses. I have a fairly new house. I have a home in Costa Rica and Florida where there's a lot of mold. I imagine that can be, you know, just in Florida, we have mold. I've had my house checked, literally tested twice in the past couple of months because Ty had a horrendous 100-day cough. I had my house tested not just once, but twice. Both times came back without, you know, kind of popping positive for mold, but it's just, it's overwhelming, and you almost feel like there's no hope. And, you know, I've been pregnant 5 times. I'm like, did I pass off, you know, toxins to my kids? Because it's tough.
And that's just my role, Amanda. When I'm sitting with my clients and my patients, I try to tell them, the worst thing that you can do is to panic, because there's no way around this. You're going to be exposed somehow, some way. If you're in a big city, if you're in a small city, you're just going to be exposed. Now, what do you need to do is to give your body the nutrients to be able to do the detoxification. Okay? So when people say to me, yes, of course, you want to avoid certain things, but sometimes, like, especially for women, now we're putting makeup on, there's perfume. It's kind of hard. You know, I find it very difficult to go everything organic, everything. It's very, very difficult. And you kind of drive yourself crazy. You get super stressed out about that. But if you know that you need nutrients to help those enzymes to get rid of those things out of your body, that's the key. It's fascinating to me when I would have clients in my office. I would have like husband and wife, right? So the wife is super toxic and the husband is like, nope, I don't have any symptoms. Everything is good. And I'm like, how is that even possible? It's because we're all different, right? We all have different levels of toxicity, but we also have different DNAs. And those enzymes that I have X, Y, and Z enzymes, you have X, Y, and Z enzymes, they're different and they require different things. So sometimes if I have a husband and wife and the wife is complaining, oh, I just have a lot of brain fog. I'm just tired. I can't lose weight. For that person, the detox needs to be maybe next level. That's why you see a lot of women going towards detox, and it's such a popular thing because people feel better. They feel better. They feel different. And mostly women, we want to detoxify not just the toxins in the air, but also to help the pathway of detoxification of hormones. So for us, we're like, wow, this makes a big difference. So if we give our bodies the correct nutrients to make those enzymes. So when I see people talking about detoxification, to me, it's super important for people to understand that your body, in order to take a substance, okay? So let's say you take a X substance and you need to break that down. In order to break that down, you have to have a key. And that's what we call enzyme. That key has to fit, turn, and eliminate. Now, the kit will fit, but it won't not work if you don't have the right micronutrients. Meaning some detoxification, depending on what you're talking about, depending on what pathway you're talking about. Some detoxification pathway, you need zinc. Other detoxification pathway, you need magnesium. Other detoxification pathway, you need B9. So it is very interesting to me when people would come to my office and say, can I take X, Y, and B, whatever, B vitamin? I'm like, well, you can, but your body is way more complex than this. It's a lot easier for you to do a natural detox because when you eat your fruits and vegetables, you're getting everything. And you're doing that in a gentle way without having those massive side effects if I do at the clinic with IVs and all these things. So that's an easy thing that people can do at home because you get all those micronutrients and you're activating all the pathways of detoxification.
Yeah.
That's the difference between taking like one vitamin and like eating the whole food.
Yeah. Okay. So the what we spoke a little bit about what is detoxification. You definitely shared the why. Why do we need the detoxification? Why do we need the detox? It's because we're consistently exposed to environmental toxins. And you also referenced the kind of how, from the standpoint of the faster way methodology, we do more of a gentle detox. We flood our body with micronutrients to support our natural detoxification pathways. But I want to dive into some of the other ways to detoxify. Let's discuss maybe some strategies like, for example, dry brushing, sauna. But then, we might as well talk about some of the other more medical detoxes that we've been privy to, where you do have occasionally severe side effects. So talk with me about dry brushing. What is dry brushing? Who, when, why, how do I do dry brushing?
So dry brushing, you have to, everything in my mind, Amanda, I think I'm trying to make like my mind understand so people can understand in simple terms, right? So what are you trying to do when you talk about in terms of detox? You want to move the toxins out of your body, right? You want to move. So the lymphatic system is what takes all that garbage from the blood and moves out of the system. So that lymphatic system, that's sometimes when you go to the doctor and they like try to see if there's lymph nodes, to see if they're inflamed. And when you feel you're like, oh, I feel a lymph node here. That means it's clogged up of something. So it's toxic, right? It could be a bacteria, a virus, but it could be just toxins. Smokers sometimes have that. So the lymphatic system also works by itself, but we're trying to help the lymphatic system. So what do? We brush. So we just help the circulation. It's basically what it is. You're just improving the lymphatic system. You're just pushing towards the center of the body, towards the liver, so you can detoxify. It's a very simple, it sounds very fancy, but you're just pushing that system. It's when people use like those tight leggings for when you go for a long flight and the doctor tells you to use that's the same concept. You're trying to push the blood out and to keep recirculating. But exercise does the same thing. So I'll tell people, yeah, you can do dry brushing because it's a simple thing, especially for people like me. I'm sitting in the office all day. At the end of the day, I get in the shower and I can do that. But if you exercise and if you're moving, if you get your body moving, you're also doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. I used to do dry brushing. I want to get back into it. It's funny because my body would almost crave it after several days. I'm like, oh, I almost just crave doing this dry brushing. It's like my body just wanted it and my skin like needed, that feeling is kind of interesting, but you're pushing toward your liver. So that's really, and then let's talk a little bit about saunas where we are obviously sweating. And then I want to dive into kind of the role of the liver a little bit in this as well.
Okay. So saunas, I would be very careful with my patients when I would say sauna. I would ask this question: have you ever done sauna? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, because you're sweating a lot. And if you're not used to that, you have to make sure you're hydrated, right?
Yes.
So if you already don't drink a lot of water and you get in a sauna, some people would come back to me and say, oh my gosh, that was the worst experience of my life, Alex. I was so sick. I couldn't stay in there for like 10 minutes. I was like that. I said, because you weren't ready. So you have to make sure you are hydrated. And the other thing is, if you are super toxic, meaning let's say somebody that has let's say you work with cleaning products, you're super toxic and you enter the sauna, let's say for 30, 45 minutes for the first time, you might not feel well. So you have to take baby steps. With my clients, I would say, start with the food because that's a major detox. I always start with the food, Amanda. That's like the main thing for me. Let's just switch some things around. Let's get your whole food started. So that way you're getting your micronutrients. Then you get in the sauna. Okay. Then you get in a sauna. We can do maybe 10 to 20 minutes, see how you feel. If you're super, super sick, That means we're not quite ready yet. Let's do it again. We'll eat more whole foods. We get hydration in it. And I'll tell people, just don't be impatient with yourself. You will get to the 45 minutes if that's what you want, but you have to get there. So don't just give up and don't feel like that's super hard for you to do. So it's super helpful. But I just want people to not get frustrated with this because it can help a lot the detoxification pathways.
Yeah. And I just have to mention, so everyone is unique.
Yeah.
Bio-individuality is such an important theme of the Faster Way. We don't do a cookie cutter approach. I have a top Faster Way coach who cannot do a sauna. She's like, every time I've tried it, I pass out. I am the same way with a cold plunge. I feel horrendous after a cold plunge, and I can challenge my body. I can challenge my mind. I like the discomfort of the cold plunge, but it makes me feel completely wiped out. And then if I do a cold plunge later that night, my body's fighting a sickness, where I do a sauna every single day. I'm in the sauna for at minimum 30 minutes. I'm sweating. I typically bring a hydration drink in the sauna with me.
Yeah.
Salt, electrolytes. We're actually coming out with the best electrolyte drink on the market with red salt, magnesium, potassium here in the coming months. Wow. Yeah, best on the market. It'll be just a game changer for the entire nutrition and fitness landscape. But the sauna, for me works, but I want everyone to hear what Alex says. Maybe take baby steps and start with food that is universal. Start with food. That's 100% universal. Okay, I'm like kind of bouncing all over the place because I'm so excited, but because you mentioned start with food, let's discuss not just simply you're having whole foods and it's the micronutrients and the macronutrients. We need to address organic. There's so much confusion, Alex.
Yeah.
Why do we need organic? When do we need organic? What foods need to be organic? Shed a little bit of light on this for me.
Okay. So my guide to me is the Environmental Working Group. If you go on their website, they're constantly doing research because what happens is sometimes from year to year, from different farmers, they will spray different pesticides in different quantities and different types of berries. So you always kind of have to keep updating yourself to make sure that you are eating, how they have the dirty dozen.
Yes.
So I think blueberries were off the list last year, or it was 2021. Now they're back on the list again because it's their level, it's the amount. That's how they guide those things. And that's what I always tell people. Don't get scared. It's just that how much, if you eat something that dirty, let's say the dirty dozen, strawberries and blueberries that are really bad from a place that has tons of pesticides, you still don't have to worry about it if you don't do that often. Okay. Because it's about the amount of toxicity. The one thing that I don't like to do is to scare people. But just keep in mind that because there's a cost, like some people tell me, I would have clients that say, it's kind of expensive, Alex. I'm like, I know, I get it. But, when we put everything in perspective, you're better off buying, if your blueberries, that's the main thing you like, strawberries is the main thing you like, buy those two things organic. Please do it, because those are kind of like at the top of the list. So pick your battles there, but they'll give you the dirty dozen and they'll give you the clean 15, which like avocados, I think anything that has a skin, right? So it's protected. So you take the skin off. Now you're not eating the pesticides. But, so with the food, that's why you're saying, that's important to address the organic and try to do the best you can with that. But I'll say this. To me, from my experience working in this country for 20 years as a nurse practitioner, I will say this. Most people that I have seen, the problem is not necessarily organic or not organic. For most people, it's the highly processed foods.
Yes.
I would say if you switch from high processed foods to whole foods and then from there to organic, now we're winning all the way.
That's
Okay.
a really good point.
Right? I think we have to eliminate those things. I'll tell you this: it's such a simple thing, and the devil is in the details. My husband bought me some ice cream from the small shop down the beach because he said, well, it's a small business owner. Maybe, you can tolerate this ice cream better. And I couldn't. I just couldn't. And there's no like ingredient list because it's a small shop, because the previous owner was getting the milk from a small farm, and I was able to eat that ice cream. And I had like a little bit of that ice cream. Like, I don't feel good. I know there's something wrong with it. I'm not going to eat it because even the color was different. Even if you don't have the list of the product and you eat and something is different about it, just listen to your body, because that's a toxin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something's wrong with that. So you just kind of have to be aware of your body and not overthink the situation. Make it simple, right? Because it is very easy to be super stressed out about it. People will tell me all the time, Amanda, but Alex, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to eat. I'm like, it's not that complicated. Go to the vegetable aisle, go where the fruits and vegetables are, and try to pick the organic stuff in there that you can't, that there's no skin. Right? The spinach, the kale, try to get the organic. That's what I usually do. I get those organic if the price is an issue. And then the other ones I don't have to worry like watermelons and, melons. You don't have to worry about that too much. But if you just do that, that's a win, because you have way more antioxidants than you have poisons. Like if you're doing processed, because if you're doing processed foods, you have the toxins that we're really talking about is the natural flavors, the coloring, the sucralose, the glycols, the things that are in antifreeze sometimes. It's crazy, but it's for consistency they do that, right? So those are all, and it piles up. It piles up at the end of the day, the end of the week. And then you're like, well, why do I have so much brain fog? Why do I feel so sluggish? Is it really your makeup? It could be. It adds to that, yes. But your gut, it's in your body. It's inside of your body. I am so passionate about this. You have to start taking baby steps. Even the drinks, right? The drinks. Somebody, even here in the office yesterday, they're like, Alex, can you look at the label of this drink? And I'm looking at the label. I put my glasses on. I'm like, yeah, there's like 3 major no in here. If you drink 1 a day, that's kind of okay. But if you start drinking 2 a day, every single day, by the end of the week, you don't feel good.
Wow. Okay, this is so good, Alex. And I'm glad that we dove into the food first mentality, because you're absolutely right. It's overwhelming when we think about the new car and the mold that we're exposed to and the lotion we're put on our body and all. But if we just break down the food category in particular, you're so correct. Transitioning from processed foods and beverages over to whole foods and beverages is step number 1 through 69. Okay, that's
Right.
step number 1 through 69. And we get caught up on the dirty dozen, the clean 15, like what should we pick? But really, we're just fixated on the wrong battle.
Yeah.
We need to be really steering clear for our families and ourselves of these highly processed foods. I just saw on Instagram a couple of days ago that a popular beverage CEO is now being sued because there are forever chemicals, which that might sound positive, but it's not positive. There are forever chemicals in this drink that all these kids are drinking. Forever chemicals are very bad, and most other countries ban these particular chemicals. And so I just saw, this big, maybe class action lawsuit against this beverage company. If you don't know what to eat, you said, many people, what do I eat?
Right.
Join the Faster Way Smoothie Detox. Join the Faster Way. We give you a meal plan so that we can take the guesswork out and we can mitigate that overwhelm. We give you 2 to 3 delicious smoothie recipes per day with detoxifying ingredients, lemon juice, ginger, cucumber, spinach, all these beautiful, wonderful ingredients. In addition to, we give you a whole food meal plan with chicken and different items, organic, of course, and we have a whole guide with directions and instructions. So I think that's really key.
Yeah, it's absolutely key. I was looking at the smoothie detox, Amanda. I was like, oh, I can do this. I can totally do this. This is going to be delicious.
Yes.
Because, what I tell people too, because they ask me, Alex, what can I replace? I like this cookie. What can I replace from this cookie and eat like an organic cookie? I'm like, well, can we kind of like not do the cookie for right now?
Yeah.
Can we just not do the cookie for maybe like 2 weeks? Because what happens also, it resets your taste buds.
Yes.
So that's a negotiation that sometimes I have with my patients. I'm like, okay, can we negotiate something? Can I just reset your taste buds for like a week or two? And then you're not going to eat any cookies. I'll let you eat the cookies afterwards, but I just need you to taste natural stuff. That's one thing that's very interesting. When I met my husband, he's an American, right? I would give him like Whole Foods and he was like, I don't taste anything. I don't feel like I don't taste it. I'm like, well, you don't taste it because you're so used to eat high fructose and high sugar and high salt that you lost your ability to taste the carrots, to taste the spinach. And now that we've been married for 23 years, he can't eat the sweet stuff anymore. He's like, oh, this tastes so good. Things start to taste different. So when people tell me I'm a picky eater, I only like certain things, and it's difficult for you to tell me what to eat, Alex, because I won't eat. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then again, let's take baby steps. You will taste the foods again. You just have to be patient and eliminate one thing at a time. And then, I think the smoothies are great because the smoothies that you have taste delicious. So it's actually tastes better than many artificial drinks.
Yeah.
So your brain, understand like, oh, I like this. This tastes really good. I don't have to eat the sweet stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. My main goal with my smoothie detox experience is to kick the sugar cravings. So I want to start actually replacing my sugar cravings with cravings for vegetables.
Yeah.
I have never been a huge vegetable lover, but because we are consuming so many vegetables throughout the week, within these smoothies, by Friday, I'm like, oh my, I want some green beans. Like I'd actually rather have green beans than a donut. I know it sounds crazy. You're just going to have to stick with me. If you're listening to this, you're like, man, you're out of your mind. I'm not going to crave broccoli over a whatever the case may be, brownie, but just try it. I mean, truly, honestly, if you're a VIP client, if you're in the smoothie detox, try these smoothies. By the end of the week, not only is your energy through the roof, your brain fog is gone, your digestion is improving, but you are also craving vegetables and fruits, which is fantastic.
And you feel lighter. You feel lighter because, one of the and we talked about this a little bit before, there's so many antioxidants that your body will produce, and it will clear all that junk from your body, but also from your mind. But it only does that if you get the right minerals and if you get the right B vitamins. So all the cilantro, the spinach, that stuff, it's all we call methylators. Basically what they do, they bind to these very bad toxins and they push out of the body. And the nice thing about detox this way, you're not going to feel sick. Like if I'm doing like a heavy duty detox with a patient at the clinic with IVs and I'm telling them to just, don't eat this, don't eat that, and just that, they're going to have a reaction. I actually had patients in my office, Amanda, that they did like a 30-day detox and their skin, it's horrible because they did the wrong way. They're taking supplements that says cleanse and detox, that they didn't do a lot of research into those supplements. They just took it because, you could just like do it. If you want to do it, that's fine. But when you have those side effects, and this lady specifically, I remember her telling me, she said, well, but they told me that this is good. I'm like, well, it's not necessarily good, because now you came here and you want some steroid cream for your face.
Oh my gosh.
So how, how is that good? So I'd rather do like a gentle detox and like support your body, make your body strong to live in this planet.
Okay. This was a great conversation. We gave you just a little peace of mind. We don't want you to panic, even though we are exposed to so many toxins in our life. We want to start with food first. And then there are other supplemental strategies like the dry brushing, like exercise, which of course we want you to do, like, potentially a sauna. But the faster way, Smoothie Detox really is a wonderful place to begin in your detox journey. And not only will you detoxify some of those environmental toxins, but also some hormones that is so key. So Alex, thank you so much for spending time with us. We truly appreciate it. I always learn something when we have conversations. So thanks for sharing your knowledge with us.
You're very welcome.
If you are a Faster Way VIP member or part of our Faster Way Detox, best wishes for the next several days. We are so proud of you for committing to better health with the Faster Way. We'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone.